Hey everyone, my name is Patrick. I am a game master running a game of Symbaroum in a homebrewed world called Eoqialyn. Eoqialyn is a dark medieval fantasy world inspired loosely by the works of Hideo Miyazaki in games like Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Elden Ring, and also by the world of Davokar and the Kingdom of Ambria from Symbaroum itself. In Eoqialyn, humans do not belong. They came here unexpectedly in an event hundreds of years ago called the World Storm, and the natives of Eoqialyn, called the Hadra, do not want them there. They believe them to be demons from another world, and have sought since the beginning to eradicate them. Everything about Eoqialyn is hostile to humans, from the water and food to the corruption, which is this force of Eoqialyn that seeks to warp and twist them and destroy, which was a curse cast by one of the gods of Eoqialyn called Awoken. Were it not for the actions of another of the gods called Ishou, humanity would have been eradicated long, long ago. However, our campaign begins with the death of Ishou, the death of that god who is protecting humanity, that has now exposed humans to the harsh hostility of Eoqialyn and the Hadra once again. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Symbaroum, it is a tabletop role-playing game very similar to Dungeons & Dragons. It's published by Free League Publishing. It is a little darker, it's a little grittier. Like I mentioned earlier, it has this corruption that ensures that all magic comes with a cost. And this corruption in Symbaroum, if it takes over your body, you turn into an abomination, a creature that seeks to destroy everything around it. Symbaroum also focuses on a struggle between the natural world and civilization. And these forces are sort of always at odds with one another. On this channel, I am going to be starting with the first episode of our second adventure in this campaign. At the beginning of the episode, we do go through a brief recap of what happened in Season 1, though keep an eye out, I will do a fuller video breakdown of what happened through that season later. I also do want to take a moment to introduce our characters. So our party is centered on 4 individuals who have received Ishou's blessing. Ishou, again, being the god who was protecting humanity but has now died. The first adventure sort of discussed their being called by the dead god through a prophet and being gifted pieces of Ishou's soul. One other important thing about Eoqialyn, humans in Eoqialyn do not have souls, which means they can't cast magic, and they are not protected against that corruption of the world. The soul sort of prevents that corruption from eating away at the body. But humans don't have that. So in kind of receiving this blessing, our party members have gained access to power greater than any other humans around, certainly. And their goal right now is to try and find a way to save humanity from the forces of Eoqialyn that seek to destroy it. So very briefly, our party consists of 2 humans. The first is Alexander, who is a thief and assassin from the border town of Yndaren. He's played by my friend Eric. We have Dorian Caldwell, who's sort of a bumbly, science-minded scholar who is been thrust into this world of magic and myth that he does not understand. And he's played by my good friend Peach. Next, we have 2 non-human party members. The first is a Corrovid Hadra. The Corrovid are hulking, giant, 4-armed creatures that live in the northern part of the continent. So this character, Stone Shattered Upon the Song of Ishou, he goes by Stone, is a songkeeper of the Corrovid, which is sort of a musical priest who sings the songs of the gods, and these songs have powers with them. So kind of similar to a bard, for those of you familiar with D&D, but a religious priestly bard. And he is played by my friend Don. And lastly, our final party member is a very interesting party member. His name is Anastas. Anastas is a member of the Najit Orthodoxy, which is a group of religious undead zealots. Eoqialyn has a very interesting feature that, for unknown reasons, humans, occasionally upon dying, rise again as undead Najit. Anastas is a Pravoslav of the Orthodoxy, which is sort of like a agent spy warrior who is sort of out in the world seeking to do the bidding of their god Duosu. Anastas specifically is searching for the first pilgrim, which is the first undead ever to be created in Eoqialyn. So that is our party. I don't want to kind of give too much away more than that, because we'll be delving into each of those characters pretty specifically here in this episode. Keep an eye out for future episodes. I'm going to be posting these kind of as we do them. I hope you enjoy it. And without further ado, here is Season 2, Episode 1 of Eoqialyn. Well, let's kick this off with just a short recap of what happened. I was going to say last time, but like really I'm kind of looking for, and again, just a brief recap of everything that happened last season.
Last season on Dragon Ball Z.
So we started out in prison.
Yep.
And this not an apparition, but this basically pretty creepy old lady gave us a
She was a nice lady.
Okay, creepy nice old lady. Still creepy. Gave us like this quest to become closer with Ishou in a sense. And she
specifically she said that y'all are chosen and that
yes.
you need to go to the mountains.
Yes. So upon escaping from the prison, we found out that the city of Garth, where we were imprisoned, was essentially under siege by an army of Indara and Indara and Karovid Hadra, I believe.
Assorted
Hadra, yeah.
Yes.
Led by Venisi the Sincere.
Yes.
Aoka of War.
Because...
go for it.
Well, because Ishou died.
Because Ishou had died. Ishou, humanity's protector.
The driving piece of the campaign, Ishou died, which then triggered longtime prisoner Anastas to kind of boast this about a trapped Karovid Hadra down here in the dungeons of Garth. And unsure of this woman's ramblings, but knowing there was a human covered in blood and a street thief who had just been put here, decided that whatever the case, the death of Ishou was an important thing that required investigation, and it would behoove the uneasy allies to leave this place and kind of get to the bottom of this, both being relatively important figures in their respective circles.
Excellent. So yeah, at that point, you guys escaped the city through the sewers, went through some trials and tribulations, had to escape through Port Town, which is in flames, as the pyromancy-wielding Indara sort of lay waste to the city. And through a long series of meeting with refugees, going to the town of Bilthrin, getting chased by Indara hunters with specifically one with large black arrows. You made your way north to Nearhaven. and to the Temple of Krixna at Krixna's exaltation atop the mountains. What happened there?
That's where we learned that the Yora, who at this point are like sort of dying out, can't have children because of their spiritualism connections, had, well, at least a couple of them had been trying to use this ritual. I can't remember the name of the ritual, but
The method.
the method, the basically the transposition thing, where it's like they were trying to put souls into human bodies, in this case specifically, to try to kind of continue the Yora as a species.
Because crucially, humans don't have souls, much like gingers, and so cannot cast magic, and are more susceptible to corruption than other races because it affects their health directly. So yeah, these Yora were trying to use the rite of shaping. Was the
rite of shaping?
In order to make human bodies acceptable vessels for souls. How did that go for them?
Not well.
Not
well. It ended up just making a bunch of kind of like pinhead monsters.
Yes, abominations. Pinhead, not necessarily, like they were covered in needles.
That's
the like.
Not Pinhead. Hellraiser. Sorry.
Hellraiser. Yeah. Because the rite of shaping was sort of like an acupuncture thing,
which is just creepy. Don't like it.
So, having acquired this ritual of shaping,
and the prince,
Prince Wilhelth of Gerd, who is off on a mission to find a god-slaying weapon, so that he can somewhere in the woods, so that he can kill a god and end corruption forever. You found him, you saved him.
Specifically,
yeah, he wants to kill Banat. Banat is the Aoka, the god of the dark wilds, and
who is
perceived
corruption. To have been the one to create the corruption.
Yes, there is some debate over that, but yeah, a lot of humans perceive him as the progenitor of the corruption, and a lot of Hadra too, although they believe he was justified in doing that. It's neither here nor there. So you save the prince, you get the rite of shaping, you are visited then by the prophet, Oliveira, once again, who tells you that you need to now go to Ishou's grave in order to finally receive his blessing, now that you have the means of doing so. And she then dies. What happens next?
Well,
Lucci looted her corpse.
Yeah,
Lucci looted the corpse. Yep, teabagged, grabbed everything that he could.
And I gave him shit for it.
We went to Ernan's Vale.
Yes.
And at Ernan's Vale, a bunch of shit happened. We met we met Venisi, but we met a Karovid. Well, actually, we met a group of monks of Ishou first.
Yeah.
Who were telling us like, well, we are gonna go to this place with this Karovid, and like there's a shrine to Ernan. That's what it was. There's a shrine to Ernan up ahead. So we decided to go there too. We met Earth that supports the mountain, who was the Karovid kind of priestess / just like a monk.
Yeah, she's a monk of Ernan. She's kind of the last one left at this monastery because this monastery's experienced some problems. They are the tenders of the Golar wood, but the Golar wood was attacked by worshippers of a plague mancer who wanted to destroy all of the Golar trees to prevent weapons being created from them. As we know, Golar weapons are the only ones that can kill spirits permanently. After the assassination of the Andarnex, the Emperor for Life of the Andara, with a Golar weapon to ensure that he would not reincarnate, they took it upon themselves to destroy every Golar tree in existence. So the wood that they were tending is not like all of these trees are dead. all of the power from them is now gone, and the woods is sort of like haunted by spirits because of it. Everything is sort of rotting and dead, and this all the monks predominantly left, except for this one who is just still watching over the wood because she believes it her duty to do so. And in fact, when you got there, she was tending one of the dead Golar trees. And she and Stone sang a beautiful hymn to the tree. What's next?
Sure did. That's when we met Venice. We decided
we went to the tomb,
Yeah.
the resting place of Ishou, and there was their sister, Venice, mourning the loss of their fallen brethren.
Sure.
Who didn't kill us for some reason.
We thought she was going to,
Yes.
and we thought we had to get past her, so Anastas attempted to challenge her in an attempt to allow his comrades to make it past, and she was very adamant at not fighting at the death of her sibling, or at the grave of her sibling.
Yes.
Frozen Astas gave us a.
I do think it's important. So what she did there. Did anyone pick up on what she did?
She didn't. Yeah, she didn't freeze you. It was like crap. I remember it was something about like it sort of like manipulated your emotions or something like that. I don't remember.
She basically commanded it to be so. That you would stop moving, and that that command sort of like rippled through reality and forced you to obey because she
willed it so.
She willed it so, yeah. And so you're learning that what the power of the Aoka is.
Yeah.
That they do have the power sort of to will things to be as they wish.
They made reality.
Yes.
They made this reality.
They made this reality, yes.
So they
it's
and
not gonna be fun if we
after that, Anastas enacted his code of honor and swore that it would destroy the Aoken god of war.
And what happened?
Then we went through the method after Venice disappeared, and we were struck.
Wow. Specifically, we set up the two humans to go through the method.
Yes.
Right? Specifically, we set up the two of them to go through it.
The two humans went through the rite of shaping. So that's Eric's character, Alexander, and Peach's character, Dorian. Went through the rite of shaping. They got the acupuncture. They got ready to accept soul. And then Ishou gave out soul. But it didn't just go to the humans, did it?
It did not.
No.
It didn't just go to the two humans in the party, did it?
Nope.
No. It at least went to the prince. Did it go to the... I don't know if it went to the prince's...
I think it was just the prince that we know of. But...
yeah.
And I don't know if you guys made this leap, but since the prince had gone through the rite of shaping at the temple...
Right,
that
he
is
was
why
already
he was able to, he was already primed to
That's why okay. So I think we can assume that it was just him. Yeah, I think we can assume
it was just him. In fact, upon awakening, you can see that his two compatriots are dead.
Oh!
Yes.
It killed them.
Yeah.
I mean, they were in the same boat.
You know, the last time Ishou did some funky shit, it also killed a bunch of people, so that makes sense.
So, we are going to begin right there in Ernon's Vale with a character scene from Peach. You guys can't see anything right now, can you?
No.
No. Nope.
This is actually super nice that I've got a player character that is in a separate window for me, so I can see exactly what you guys are seeing. So that's going to help, I think. It's going to help.
Oh, it's very zoom.
Again, the buttons don't work. So that back button should take you back to the map, but it doesn't work right now. So don't worry about it. Just forget about it. Pretend you don't see it. Okay.
Supposed to not have
It'll be
controls,
so
dude.
cool when it can, though.
Yeah, it will be so cool.
Are you getting a super weird view, Talon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not
Try that.
fully.
Try that.
Oh, that works.
Yep. There we go.
Okay. Peach, it's all you.
All right. And you're gonna be following along, Pat?
I am, yes.
Okay. Dorian found himself pressed amidst a deluge of refugees, shoving, scrambling, and clawing their way into an abyssal blackness, running for their lives in Arcadia's streets. At their back, Dorian could see the army of Hadra marching ever closer. Smoke and fire billowed from war machines manned by Andara, pulled by massive armored Korovid. The blinding light of lightning bursting around the black abyssal storm, reflecting off of Yora's swarms of blades. He could hear the screams of those at the back of the refugee column, desperate wails punctuated by the roaring thunder. Could smell smoke and the scent of cooking meat as the waves of fire spewed from those awful war machines, causing wailing cries to raise another octave. He could feel the fear crushing around him, his heart pounding in his throat like a snared rabbit's frantic kicks. The two wide eyes and horror-struck faces around him twisting into snarls as the healthy shoved the old and weak back to the jaws of inevitable death. Dorian felt a hand grasping at his arm and yanking him back, the sharp tug causing his ruined leg to twist from under him and send him crashing to the cobblestone. A sea of choking dust and stamping boots descended upon him. His body was kicked and battered from every angle 100 times over, twisting, jerking, and writhing beneath the merciless onslaught, each breath a more monumental task than the last. Dorian felt himself being pulled back further towards the Hadra. He desperately clawed at the stone streets, nails breaking and bleeding from a desperate scramble for purchase. He was flipped to his back and could feel the hands of a towering Korovid pinning him down, crushing his ribs as his gurgling screams were smothered to whimpers. More and more sets of inhuman hands clasping around him and slamming his hands down, splaying his fingers apart.
Hold him still. The fire takes him.
Then he saw the knives, thin and jagged obsidian glass, glowing hot as a crucible, descending slow and controlled into his hands, each carving snaking designs into his flesh.
He returns to the earth. Bonekin, hold him.
Wet, slobbering screams were cut off, a bony hand clamping Dorian's jaw shut, white eyes rolling to a dagger plunging, digging, and burning into his forehead. Tears rolled, then rose from his cheeks in streams of steam.
Open his mouth. If he does not drink, he will never return to us. That's it.
Those terrible blades rose again and descended towards his eyes. He twisted and jerked, bucked and bit, every fiber of his aching body screaming for release. The points a hair's breadth from his rolling orbs before all turned to a searing, blinding white. Dorian awoke, screaming fire. The firm grips holding him quickly releasing, his hands, eyes, and mouth, all blistered and scabbed black, began billowing a torrent of blue-orange flame. His bedding and clothing became engulfed in an inferno. He could hear shouting and curses around him before he fell, the inferno slowly dying as his body thudded against cool stone, and the blissful embrace of oblivion took him once more.
The rest of you are assembled in a small hut. This is one of the stone huts of the monastery, just on the other side of Ernon's Vale. where you have returned with the convulsing, unconscious body of Dorian. Earth that supports the mountain has done her best to administer some healing, and now Dorian lies unconscious on the bed, all of his clothes and the bedding completely burned around him, and the rest of you sort of stunned with the intensity of this outburst. I think that we are through the worst of it. Earth that supports the mountain is visibly shaken. She has not encountered something quite like this in a very long time. What are the rest of you doing?
Well, I imagine Anastas would be yet collapsing and falling apart in a plume of black smoke, weeping outside the yurt as his conflagrated friend is dragged off to the yurt.
In fact, all of you are feeling incredibly drained. Your bodies and minds are weak from the intensity of the ordeal, not just the Dorian's outburst here, but the visions that you'd received now just barely an hour ago. Alexander, you are nearly ready to collapse into sleep yourself. Stone, being stronger of mind, you are holding it together, but can certainly feel the effects of this thing. I think it's best if we let him rest, and the rest of you as well. Let me find beds for you.
I agree. We have much to ruminate on.
I imagine.
Very much.
Earth steps out and goes to prepare the beds for you. As you step out of the yurt, leaving Dorian there, you see Anastas collapsed in the snow, sort of a halo of gold, still luminous around him.
As he was going through this fever dream, and those, to Dorian, he saw that's what he was seeing. But as it was happening in the dream, you guys could see lines of almost carved fire being cut into the backs of his hands. His skin around his hands became like all mottled and like pink, as if it was just shoved into boiling water. And these strange, almost carvings began appearing on the backs of his hands, and just barely beginning to snake up his wrists. And you could also see a one being carved into the middle of his forehead of a flame etched there. And when he finally like awoke for a moment, that's when the fire started literally coming out of his eyes, his nose, his mouth, in just a torrent of flame.
My six-legged doggo friend that I've totally not forgotten about at this point. How is she reacting to my and Dorian and the prince's new souls?
Yeah.
Or to us in general?
Yeah, great question. So, as you kind of go outside, you collapse in exhaustion, just sort of like on the hill outside. You can see that snow has started to fall, and what is the name of your pet?
Minerva.
Minerva comes running up to you and sits down next to you and reaches out her forepaw to hold on to your hand, as her species is wont to do. And she just sort of sits next to you, holding your hand. Does not seem to be changed at all since going through this ordeal. Sitting down, however, you do see Professor Callan, having just now returned in the bustle of things. You didn't see him come back with you. Things were pretty chaotic, and you can now see him emerging from the forest. He sort of looks up at you despondently. His whole body is just very weak, and he himself slowly walks into the yurt where Dorian is now sleeping, and collapses on the ground in exhaustion himself.
So as you fall over, Alexander, Stone takes a second, looks totally the opposite direction away from you, and then looks down at you and stares at you for a second and just kind of mutters, "It will pass," and just keeps walking.
All right. So now I believe that Anastas has a scene that he would like to do.
Anastas rose from weeping, black smoke yet billowing off its frame, and a golden light surrounding the tenebrous figure. It shambles towards Dorian's resting place. And, dear, I must leave you, ye chosen. I have seen Providence, but fear not, for it shall only be some time. And as it mutters this, its jaw slowly floats lower into its rib cage and then reattaches. As it walked, pieces of itself shambled to the ground, ribs, arms, slowly being pulled by invisible threads back to its host. The creature was both pitiful and brilliant, hunched yet still proud, as Anastas dragged the great wheel behind it. Attempts to halt this march fell on deaf ears filled with prayer. Endless prayers, as Anastas marched ceaselessly to some unknown. Days, nights, perhaps weeks pass. To the Najit, prayers are hymnal retellings of their history, what little they had. Stories of the first pilgrim and Ishou, the prophetic pontiff of all diocese. Visions of these stories danced through the black cloud, stories of himself, of triumph and war. But soon these visions would change to the bloody fall of Karstop, the death throes of Chains of the High Wall, and soon after that, of the soft earth of a small slave town of Eoqialyn. Anastas saw crawling before it a sorry creature, a human, a man. His gangly, thin, long arms dragging the tattered flesh his useless, protracted legs had become against the earth and stone. Anastas felt compelled to stop, to sit, to watch this familiar specter for some time. The man stopped crawling as he struggled to sit himself up, gather his impossibly long, dangling legs underneath the single burlap blanket he wrapped himself with. The man pulled a bowl out to beg for scraps. He began crying for help, begging for food, begging for coin, and crying for his mother, who must have just passed. His mother was his caregiver, for whom without her love he would not belong for this hostile world. Anastas could feel this familiar pain in the man's heart, being able to use his defective body Too long, too tall, too weak, castigated as a wretch and an abomination, cast out with his mother out of their settlement. A mouth that must be fed but cannot serve has no place in the Commonwealth. The poor man turned away from Anastas, staring at something walking by. A girl, shining bright, alongside another man, covered in darkness. Holding her close, as many ambling bodies came behind the pair, marching in rank and file. Something about this brilliant passerby enraptured both the man and Anastas's mind and gaze. The man reached out to her, began crawling towards her, but the crowd following began to move rapidly. Steady marching transformed into a feverish charge, and each footfall landed on the malformed beggar, pushing him deeper and deeper into the soft and soiled Iroquoian street, where humans were rounded up like cattle by the Hadran demons. Yes, the humans were leaving. The humans were finally escaping, but the man could not get himself out of the mud. And with one heavy footfall, smashed the man's head deep into the mud. Deep enough so he could not breathe. He could not get up. He would die there, in filth, trampled, and broken. Anastas watched helplessly as the beggar died, grasping for air, struggling to pull himself out. But somehow, he knew this beggar, this nameless man, died happily, knowing the humans would be free from the Hadra. Despite their contempt towards him, the man loved his kind. He loved the song and dance of the slaves of Andaran Bay, and knew perhaps they may do so now freely. Anastas up till now was frozen, unable to do anything but watch this memory for it. And the Najit summoned the strength to reach out to this vision, this corpse of an unnamed man, and pull back his matted black hair, removing his face from the mud. The man's eyes opened, clouded, undead. Strength returned to Anastas's frame. Long arms pulled himself by the great silver wheel and came all the way to his feet, and the Najit joined him. The two creatures stared at each other, eye to eye, understandingly, longingly, for a while, till the once broken and disfigured man used his legs for the first time and ran off towards the crowd that trampled him, towards the girl that shone so brightly in his mind. The smoke faded. Anastas's bones returned to its frame. It did not know for how long or for where it marched when the black smoke stops pouring from its core, the pieces of itself pulling itself back together. But Gareth stood tall before him, Najit keeping careful watch of the humans putting the city back together.
So, Anastas, as you look up at Gareth, you can see that the city has been ruined by the attack of the Hadra, and its apparent saving by the Najit. The towering walls, once so grand and impenetrable, stand in ruined shambles of their previous might. Great parts of them have been torn asunder and patched only yet haphazardly. Workers, their movements slow and uninspired, labor upon them. Other men and women walk the streets with hollow, crestfallen expressions, and all under the gaze of Najit, who stand ominously at street corners and archways, casting their dead, expressionless gazes around the city streets. Evidence of the attack is everywhere, in burned-out shops, ruined cobblestones, cracking walls, and the ever-present smell of death. The Najit that you see cast wary glances at you, Your reputation, it seems, precedes itself. What would you like to do?
Anastas makes his way to the gate, finding it guarded, unguarded.
So the gate has been broken in. They are currently working on repairing it, and there are a few Najit that stand there watchful. You could say guarding it, but they do not give you any. They do not stop you in any way, and you are allowed to pass freely through the gates.
I walk through the main gate up through the main path that I imagine kind of leads to the Temple of Ishou.
Exactly.
And I stay on that same path, walking slowly but surely. Anastas's posture, returning to it, standing very tall, Puridicida hung on its back. It makes careful note to see how the humans are being treated, noticing that it doesn't seem like anyone's been crucified. No killings or lashings, but they are being observed as they return the city to order. That's correct?
Yeah, that is correct. You don't see any crucifixions of any kind. And from the there are banners and things that have been put up, banners of the Diocese of Order, of the Najit Diocese of Order. As you go along that main way, you approach the Blue Way, which is that long corridor that leads from the Temple of Ishou to the Iron Keep at the other end. However, importantly, you notice that the Temple of Ishou has been completely altered. The symbol of Ishou, that large ring that was up, you remember seeing that falling as the city fell. But all iconography of Ishou has been ripped off or scratched out in exchange for the Najit god, the symbol of Duosu.
And I make my way into the temple looking for leadership.
Yeah, asking around, you are led to sort of the apse of the temple. Now, Anastas has not been in this temple, correct? Ever? Okay. Because you didn't come up to the city out of the sewers with the humans in the first session. Had Anastas... Do you think Anastas had been in here prior to his imprisonment, or not?
I imagine he was probably imprisoned here. He's walking... I imagine Anastas is walking a very familiar path from once he found himself imprisoned in the dungeons of Gareth.
Yeah.
And this was where he was met with military resistance and constraint.
Yeah. You notice that the temple is actually very much empty. Other than having been redecorated, in fact, brilliantly renovated, unlike the half-ruined, war-torn buildings around it. It sort of stands as a shining beacon rising from the filth of this remnant city. However, again, almost completely empty when you step inside. The familiar scent of incense that is common to the Najit practice fills your nose. And after getting your bearings, you hear a small shuffling sound. A Najit steps out from sort of a side corridor, and it is a hunched back. You can tell from the robes a deacon, but he looks at you with hollow, barely sentient eyes, and he looks up at you and motions for you to follow him.
Anastas bows, does not prostrate, but bows to the bishop and silently
not
follows.
a bishop, a deacon. So this is a
deacon.
lower lower level than you.
Sure. Yeah. He bows to the deacon as a sign of politeness and silently follows the creature.
Yeah, the creature doesn't say a word, but he leads you down into the apse of this temple, into a room. He gestures for you to step inside. It's dark, lit only by candles, and he closes the door behind you. In the apse, a body. The only thing in the room is a body lying on sort of a altar table. There are candles and incense burning around him. And you are left alone with what appears to be a human corpse.
I will prostrate myself. I go to both knees, placing the round of the wheel behind my back, and I will bend myself backwards over the wheel, interlacing my arms through the spokes, and pray to the pilgrim.
As you pray, you hear a small gasp come from the corpse.
Good leader of order, the Provislav of might, Anastas the wheel, prostrates itself before you.
You hear a door on the other side of the room open with a creak. In your prostrate stance, you can't see who steps inside. Anastas, the wheel. So rumor is now truth. It is good that you are here. Come, pay your respects to the last king of Gerth.
And Anastas kind of like rolls itself back towards this voice.
As you sort of roll yourself up, you see that the person who has entered is wearing a gold and silver adorned. Rather, the Najit itself is gold and silver adorned. His eye sockets have been filled with two enormous amethysts. You recognize him by his reputation. This is Valentian. He's an archpriest of Diocese Order. Not a bishop or anything like that, but certainly prospective. You would probably count him on equal, if maybe a little bit higher level from you, just because the way that the dioceses work, the hierarchy isn't perfect, it doesn't perfectly match up.
I will remain in my form and address this individual. Do I recognize it as Valentian?
Yes, yeah. You, by reputation, you've not met, but the amethyst eyes, and that you know that this is Diocese Order, you're pretty confident.
To be here in the presence of the good Valentian, as you reclaim Gerth to our people, is quite the honor indeed.
We have much to discuss. As he says this, the corpse on the table sort of rolls over, and you see that it's actually not a corpse at all. This is a living, albeit very corrupted, human, and its eyes are open, and it sort of gazes into you. Valentian says, "Anastas, Meet Prince Renault of Gareth. And that is where we are going to cut that scene off. And go back to Ernon's Vale. The rest of you have been here recuperating for weeks now. You've been sleeping 18 hours a day and just slowly recovering your strength. You did not realize how much this had taken it out of you. But finally now you are beginning to recover. Snow gently falls gently past the mountain peaks around Ernon's Vale. A quilt of white lays across the Golar wood, across the grave of a dead Aoka, across the sparse monastery of Ernon's disciple. This has been your home for the past 3 weeks. You stretch your aching limbs out into the cold, fluffy snow. Only 3 weeks it has been since receiving Ishou's gift, and your body, your mind has only just begun to heal. Memories of that day, of the intervening days, haunt you. Wilhelt and Alexander, you are sparring in the snows outside the monastery. Wilhelt, needing to get some exercise, has decided that he's going to teach you some of his fencing technique. And he is incredibly good. Probably one of the best fencers you have ever locked blades with. And you sort of playfully go back and forth as he feints and riposts, showing you several different techniques. Stone, you are sitting on just outside of the yurt where Dorian yet sleeps. He has not come out of his coma since the day of receiving Ishou's blessing, and you have become incredibly worried. A few moments later, Earth emerges from the yurt carrying soiled bandages, and you can see that they are covered in pus and not blood, but this sort of that weeping from like burns. The little one has not yet come back to us, Stone, but with patience he shall. As I said, he's through the worst of it.
Stone doesn't say anything, but just kind of nods and almost seems like he's staring through her as he does so.
Interesting. She sits down next to you. Stone, I know you have said little about the circumstances that brought you here, but I believe that it was Providence. What do you plan to do once your friend awakens?
Honestly, I do not know. It may have been Providence that brought me here, brought all of us here. But this was not how I anticipated things falling out. I am not chosen. I was never meant to be chosen. I am here to serve and nothing more. I do not know what to do with this.
I believe that you have been given something precious, and that you should take care of it.
I don't know what that means either. I feel as though I have begun to start to see the shape of things in ways that I cannot understand. I know and I do not know. I see and I cannot see. Things that have been and things that will be yet, or will not. And I am frightened.
She glances over to the other side of the little clearing outside the yurt, where you can see the silent monks, the other monks to Ishou that had come to pay their respects, whom you had met upon first coming into the valley. They are sitting right now in meditation and prayer. Several of them look very weak and sickly. Stone, sometimes our best guides are those who choose not to lead, but to follow. And with that, she gets up and takes her basket of soiled bandages and heads off to the stream to go clean them. Meanwhile, as Alexander and Wilhelt, you are sparring. Alexander, could you make a attack against Wilhelt? I want to see how this goes.
Sure thing.
Oh boy!
Just like one regular attack.
Yeah, this is going to be at -5.
Okay.
He's taking it easy.
No advantage, I assume. We'll just roll that up. I'm not backstabbing him.
Prince legit.
Yes. He is a he talks a lot of game, but he has devoted his life to the study of fencing. So as you make a lunge with the dagger, he easily deflects it, actually stepping past you, pushing you backwards, and you fall into the snow behind him as but he has been sort of jovial and laughing, but as you hit the snow, he doesn't say anything. You turn around, and when you look at him, you can see that he is staring off to where right now Stone and Earth are talking, sitting outside the yurt. What is it that you think they're talking about?
I spit some snow out that after I fell into it. Oh, I would assume some about Dorian. Poor lad's still struggling, so.
Isn't that curious? The rest of us are just fine, and he's not.
I rise to my feet again. I don't know. To be fair, he's never was the strongest of us, but I wouldn't have thought this would have happened. Something beyond my abilities to comprehend. It seems all of this beyond my abilities to comprehend. What do you think they're talking about?
Wilhelt is has a very dour expression. His voice suddenly goes to barely more than a whisper. Alexander, are you sure that we can trust them? Any of them?
I don't see how. I don't think I would have made it this far without them, I can tell you that. I wouldn't be in this position without them either, but I have no reason to distrust them. What are your fears?
That we've gone through a life-changing experience, and that immediately upon that happening, the oversized skeleton of yours disappears. That creature spends long hours staring off into the distance, looking at nothing in particular, and your other friend has not yet woken from a coma, as he is tended by a monk that we just met. Alexander, I have reason to believe that they do not all have our best interests in mind.
I understand your fears. I understand this is... I don't know what's fully going on, but I feel that they can help with that. I shouldn't have this. He points towards his chest and kind of towards what he feels as this elder spirit. I shouldn't have this. I should be dead. And the fact that I'm not tells me that what I've done so far is... Well, it's... Since day one meeting them, it's gone exactly as it has. I don't know if I buy into this chosen one crap yet, but I know that there's something going on behind the scenes. I trust my companions who have lived with it through this.
Be careful who you trust, Alexander. He says as he puts his foil away, and he takes off towards his yurt.
I always have been careful. And I'll return towards my yurt.
As you turn towards your yurt, you find yourself disoriented. You're just much closer to the yurt than you thought that you were when you were fencing. With the flow of the battle, you must have lost yourself, and
Okay.
You're just not. You look around and you're like, it's just that strange sensation of like, I didn't think that I was right here, but okay. Take off. Go towards your yurt.
Strange.
Stone, what would you like to be doing now?
Well, probably, if it isn't finished, I've probably gotten up, and knowing that, Dorian is not awake yet, have probably continued to work on my bow, or are elsewhere just, potentially... Actually, you know what I'm doing? I went to go get the bow, and now I'm sitting near the monks that are meditating, and I am going to continue to work on it.
Looking over at the monks, you realize something that you hadn't when you were sitting over by the yurt, now that you've gotten a little bit closer. They are meditating, they are praying over one of them, a body that is lying in the snow between them.
Are all of them praying?
All of them are praying except for the one who's lying in the snow.
So they are... That's interesting. So the voice isn't the only one that is praying.
They're not speaking. They're like sitting in prayer, but it is completely silent.
Gotcha. Well, I'll put the bow down, and I will approach quietly, and stand probably somewhat behind them, and also kind of bow my head and begin to pray with them.
You pray for a few moments, a few minutes, in complete silence. You recognize this as a very common moment of silence for a fallen servant of Ishou, even one that has gone to the humans. The humans even observe this, knowing Ishou to be the quiet god, finding the most reverent thing to do is to say nothing at all. After a few minutes, they gather up the body, wrapping it in cloth, and the speaker comes to you, whispering as he does, "Brother Eoqialyn has passed on. We are going to the forest to lay his body to rest at the base of a golar tree. Would you care to join us?"
Yes, if I may.
"We would be honored if you could sing Ishou's song. I do not have the gift that you do."
The honor would be mine.
The monks lead you out into the forest of Golar, finding a large knotted Golar tree. They lay the body at the base of it, actually sort of sitting up, such that it looks like he is in prayer. And they step back and bow their heads.
And Stone will begin to sing.
The song is... Now, you know the new song, correct? Are you singing the new song or the old song?
I am going to sing the new song.
The new song. Interesting. Okay. You sing the new song, which is... I don't want to say hopeful. It has the same sad, melancholic tone that the Song of Ishou always has, but it bears in it a hint of possibility, of what is to come, and mystery. And after the song is finished, it sort of reverberates through the wood. But again, the song does not... There is no power to it. You can feel that power building and building and building, and at the end of the song, it just sort of washes away, and nothing happens. The monks, each in turn, give a bow to their fallen brother and leave, except for the speaker. You can see the speaker has a tear rolling down his cheek. "I have never heard the song sung that way before. Where did you learn it?"
I learned it from Ishou.
He nods, not seeming to fully understand the grasp of, or fully grasping the extent to what this actually means. He looks down at the corpse of this monk and he says, "Brother Eoqialyn gave himself for his mourning of Ishou. Were it that we could all be so devoted." What is a man of God to do when that God departs?
You must keep your faith. We do not know the plan. We do not know the path in its fullness, but we know that there is a path and that we are walking it.
looks at you sadly and says, I fear I have but one step along that path left, and that is to die. Your song, it seems to be incomplete. Are you sure that you are not missing anything?
I would like, if I can, to start singing it again. And I would like to use the ritual.
You sing the song again. The power builds within you, building and building and building. And when you reach the end, the power dissipates around you once again. The final lines of the song are, "Show me, Ishou, show me," but in the Korovid, the old Korovid tongue. The monk sort of says this line. What do you suppose it is that Ishou is showing us?
Ishou is showing us potentiality. Ishou is showing us that the song is never finished, and that we are forever moving forward to see new things, to be shown new things.
Thank you, Stone. I think I needed that. He looks again at his brother. Puts a hand. What he puts two of his. Rather no. He's Indara. He only has the one set of arms. He puts an arm on your back and says, "Take all the time that you need." And he departs back to the monastery.
Well, after he's gone, under his breath, Stone thinks about the song, thinks about the last few words of the song, and to himself he mutters, "Our path. Show me our path."
Cool. Okay. At this point, I do have to pee. I just want to take a short break here. I was not recording audio for like the whole first scene with Dorian and everything, and I'm a little mad about it. I think I figured it out. This was a test run, so like I might after this just have to like sit down and be like, okay, I'm gonna have to re-record this scene. So that was super frustrating. But yeah, let's just take 5-10 minutes. Everyone go get a drink or use the bathroom. We'll be back in a bit. And we're going to restart with Anastas conversating with Valentian.
All right.
Cool. I'm not going to turn my camera off because I'm cool.
Mm-hmm. Cool scene, Peach.
Yeah, that was awesome, dude.
His knife.
Just see Stone, all four arms just full up in the air, just shrugging.
Yeah.
All right, everyone back?
Yes, sir. All right, man.
Yeah.
Crucially, is
do we have a
Talon
Talon?
I am back.
Okay, excellent. It would be very awkward for me to describe this scene. Where are we?
Also, did you plan the music for all of that? Because I feel like the music worked out very well in like every single instance.
I did not plan the music out at all, and it was just like super fortuitous.
Just good. Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay, so we are in Gareth now. Where are we at? Okay, so Anastas, you and Valentian are in the apse of the temple now, Duosu, of the Najit in Gareth, standing around the body of Prince Renault, who the rest of you will remember as the prince who had been wounded in the original attack by the Hadra, who Alexander stole the medicine from.
Oh yeah, to save the professor.
To save the professor, yes. And it appears that he has not recovered, and furthermore, that he is being overcome with corruption. Very similar to some of those prisoners that you had seen in the prison that first day upon leaving as well. Anastas, Valentian is inspecting the sickly body before him, sort of like going over and inspecting wounds and things. In fact, he has a lens, like sort of like a magnifying glass, but without a handle, that he is holding up to his like amethyst eye to view these things.
Good, Valentian. What is your attention with this sorry creature? I have seen how this progresses.
I need to find the voice for this character. Yes. Into abominations they turn. And not importantly, do they rise to become one of us. I hope through my study I can determine why, and if there is a way to reverse the process. You look around at the incense burning around him, and it suddenly becomes very clear that Valentian is trying to cleanse the corruption in this prince.
Does it seem to like kind of like, I don't know if Anastas has like the background to understand this, but does it look like this is going slower?
I would say that you don't, maybe even not that you don't have the background, but having just come in, not having seen this guy before,
yeah,
you're just not sure. You don't have like enough data points.
How long have you had this body?
Our good Prince Renault fell at the battle some 3 months ago. I have been keeping him alive since then, although he is now barely clinging on. We shall see what happens if he should die, if I am able to raise him once that happens.
With the good light and love of our pilgrim, I wish you success. This corruption does stand as an unholy obstacle to our cause.
Indeed.
However, good Valentian, in my travels, in my absence, have witnessed things that I believe not only should be recorded in the ossuary, but things the Pontiff Istolt, hallowed be his name, should hear himself.
Yes, imagine my surprise at learning that the great Anastas, the great wheel, not only had been imprisoned by humans, but upon our triumph, our glory at saving the city, he was gone. Where have you been, Anastas?
I have spent much time turning my wheel in prayer.
Is that all that you have to say for yourself?
I have spent much time following the Pilgrim's Light, and much time slaying the Hadron demons. And after facing the Eoqialyn demon of war, I was given providence from our dear Pilgrim herself. I have found the Golden Prince of Man on a journey for a means to kill the Eoqa themselves. There exists yet weapons that may slay them.
Valentian's face is passive and emotionless. This is an interesting story. I pray that the bishops will be as understanding as I when they hear it. You may have heard that your absence has been noted.
It is within my freedom to carry out my truth as I see fit, as long-standing as the tradition of the Pravoslav. Pravoslav itself is our word, truth-teller.
The world has changed much, Anastas, since you disappeared. Our very existence is now threatened. We must be as one if we hope to overcome the forces arrayed against us. We must...
Then it is,
Go ahead.
then it is a good time for our champions to return.
It is. It is a good time to set aside our diastical disagreements, these petty squabbles. We cannot have rogues breaking rank.
We know that the diocese may differ in operation, but never differ in intent.
Anastas, you have two options available to you right now.
Anastas cannot be said.
The bishops are not pleased with you. I believe you may have angered one of them. If you value the rest of your existence, you will go to Karstop. You will throw yourself at their mercy and request absolution. Or I present another option, because I do not think that you will find the bishops amenable to your pleas. I am willing to bear witness for you. I am willing to support you. However, I need something from you first.
For what can this humble Pravoslav order give to the good Valentian?
As I said, we cannot have rogues running wild at every corner of Eoqialyn. There is one such in the city of Arcadia right now. I need someone to deal with him. However, currently, we are at war with the Hadra, and I cannot cause another war with the humans. I need someone
For whom
discerning.
am I hunting?
I do not know his name, only rumors of it. But there is rumors that there is one of our great order lurking about Arcadia, causing trouble. I would have you find him and put an end to him. Can you do this?
Washed in the pilgrim's blood, it shall be done. I wonder, hast thou heard of Ratcatcher Medine?
Valencian says nothing. As the DM, what did you say?
Oh, Ratcatcher Nadim, that was the assassin.
Oh, yes. It is outside my study.
He is yet broke. There is one of our order causing problems in Arcadia. What sorts of problems? Should this accomplishment be met, I eagerly await the union of might and of order. Our two dioceses struggled with each other for too long, and it is time.
I agree. Anastas, you seem yet of sound mind and will, but it is not so for all of us. The corruption affects us all in different ways. And without humans, we will die out until we find perfection. For the time being, we must keep them alive at all costs.
This sings true to the message I was given from our dear pilgrim. I was to wait to retell the tale, but from what it sounds like, our good order is in dire need of purification, of repentance. It seems they have forgotten our ways. They have forgotten to respect the order of things. The pilgrim came to me alone, as the last Najit, and I would pass on, and we would be forgotten. I fear that the pride of our vicars and bishops would cloud them from this truth. Valencian, I swear it on my being and on my wheel. I will serve men, and I will keep them passing on until we can make sure they will become whole as one of us. Pray tell, when I find this rogue, what word can I send? And in what manner do you wish him taken care of?
I wish him brought to me.
It shall be done.
Our vision is aligned, Anastas. Now go in the light. Oh, we have but one thing to take care of yet. He looks down at the body of the prince, laid out. Would you do me the honor of ending this man's life, that we might bring him back, that we might raise him?
And it shall be done. Anastas walks over to the sorry creature, says a short prayer, kneeling, and then takes his hand and places it on the chest of the prince and begins pressing harder. The ribs crack until he can feel the heart beating against the flesh. And Anastas stops it, reaching his fingers into the skin and forcibly stopping the heart from beating.
Meanwhile, the Archbishop Valentian is extolling the pilgrim in prostration, in this ritual of raising that you have seen so many times before. The incense fills the room. The sounds of his exaltations echo over against the stone walls, and the body lies still underneath you. As his prayer concludes, the body does not stir. Valentian sighs. And so passes the last king of Gareth.
But does not pass our hopes for our people. Keep up your work, and I shall keep mine.
Thank you, Anastas. Go in the light of the pilgrim.
Washed in the blood of the pilgrim. Goodbye. Till next time.
I do not like this little finger fucking guy.
I didn't like any of that.
No.
Not a single bit of that, actually.
No, you guys are fucking freaky.
I did not like that.
I mean, it's cool for the story, but
But like, also, nah.
nah.
Y'all Skeleboy motherfuckers, nah.
Anastas, what are you gonna do at this point?
Anastas is going to acquiesce Valentian to send him to their forge masters to be reforged, to have the armor on his body stapled to his bones, and perhaps some of his gilding be restored.
Oh, hell yeah.
Thus to explain his increase in strength and robustness.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. You go to the finest armorers in the city, and spend a few days beside the forge being reworked, and recast.
They push me into the forge and remove me, and the armor is on my body glowing red hot, and they hammer it on, and the chisels hit, and the jewelers do their work, and arise after a few days a new warrior.
Excellent. Hell yeah.
So cool.
Okay, Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing to pass the time in Ernon's Vale?
Well, I would imagine that...
Complete shit. I'm so sorry. Okay. It is that night. The night after you had sparred with Wilhelt, and had shared that conversation. And you are awoken in the middle of the night to the sounds of rustling and packing. You are sharing a yurt with Wilhelt.
Okay,
and,
gotcha.
There is a candle that is flickering, and you can see that he is packing all of his things, everything that he can carry. As you recall, he had started off with a full carriage worth of things, and is now down to a simple pack with the rest of you.
Now I'll stir from my sleep. Will, what are you doing? It's late.
It is late, my friend. Too late, I fear.
The hell are you talking about?
He stops packing for a second, and he looks over to you. Alexander, I'm leaving. I can't stay here any longer. Do not trust the people that we are with. I am leaving to find the Whisper of Ishou. I'm going to destroy the Najit before they destroy us. And I am going to kill Banat and save humanity. And I want you to come with me.
You do recall the dream we had, right? You, me, and Dorian? And the horrors we inflicted? Are you not concerned about that?
I am concerned. I'm very concerned.
I worry you're falling right into that same destiny that we're trying to prevent. You do not trust Ishou. You do not trust...
I do trust Ishou, and Ishou showed me something that I cannot get out of my head, and I have not been able to for weeks. The Najit are going to destroy us. I have seen it, and I am going to stop it. Are you coming with me or not?
I don't even know where to really begin, though.
I do. I have the map. I'm going to Yindarin. I'm going to find the blade. I'm going to end this. You are welcome to join me, Alexander. I trust you in a way that I do not trust the others. And if you should choose to do this, you can play a different character for this adventure, and we would come back to Alexander later. That is always an option.
Oh, snap.
Whoa.
Oh. Oh, I was not prepared. Oh, no. Ooh. We are long friends, but you're asking a lot out of me. It's at an hour in which... He kind of whispers. At an hour in which we still don't know what's happened to Dorian. An hour at which we still don't know what's happened to Anastas.
The world has not stopped turning because we are here in this mountain vale. Every day that we wait, things get worse out there. I am ready to leave. If you would, you can join me. And if not, you can find me in Yindarin. He kind of packs the last of his things, shoulders his bag, and heads out towards the door.
How would I find you?
The same spot that you found me the first time. And Alexander, mark my words, You cannot trust them.
I suppose time will tell.
Goodbye, my friend. And with that, Prince Wilhelt leaves the yurt and disappears into the darkness beyond.
Alexander watches him. He'll kind of go to the door of the yurt or the flap or whatever, and we'll kind of watch him as he essentially starts fading into the distance. I'm imagining Minerva comes up and sits next to Alexander, and he'll give her a little pat. 2 paths ahead, and I don't know which one to go for. Don't suppose you have any ideas?
She makes a gurgling, cooing sound as you scratch her.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. He'll go back into his yurt and kind of just lay there staring at the ceiling. Will not get any extra sleep that night.
Excellent. Dorian, you awake with a start, sitting bolt up in your bed. You do not know how long it has been, you do not know where you are, but your dreams have been filled with the darkest of things.
Is anyone in the room with me?
No one, actually, Stone, are you in the room or not?
Sure, Stone will be in the room.
Stone is in the room, but asleep. You have startled him awake with your sudden violent awakening. I imagine that Stone is sitting on a stool that is kind of too small for him, just dozing. And as you get up, he sort of gets up and stumbles backwards off the chair a little bit,
touches himself with his 2 lower arms and shuffles back up. Dorian, after sitting bolt upright, just his bed soaked in sweat, pale as a ghost, he turns, his eyes wide as saucers, staring at you, and just says, "They're coming. Stone, they are coming. Thousands of them." He kind of winces a little bit as he's white knuckling the bed and looks down at his hands that are just almost this soft pinkish glow. What happened? Where am I?
You have been asleep for many weeks, Smallkin. We feared you might not wake.
Venisi. The one that we saw at the tomb. The one that Anastas challenged. She is coming. For Arcadia, for all of mankind. We have
How
to
do you know this?
I saw it. Over and over again. In one hellish nightmare after the last. After the next. And it's... I have to get back to Arcadia. We are woefully underprepared for anything like this.
I feel it is most prudent for you at this moment to stay in your bed.
I've been staying in my bed for weeks. We need to move. There's no time to waste.
Very well. Then...
Dorian is already, looking around for his cane.
So you're up out of bed?
He's like sitting up and like looking around for his cane, like one hand clutching the sheets around his waist. Yeah, help me get dressed, Stone. Where's Anastas? Where's Alexander? We have to go.
So Stone is going to grab your walking stick because, I mean, he's probably got enough arm length to just grab whatever he needs to grab in this room. And he'll hold it out to you, but he holds it out to you not directly at you. It's like he's looking past you and holds it out to where he's looking instead of directly at you. And while he's doing so, he says, Anastas is gone. We do not know where.
He left. He left us.
He left us.
But why?
I do not know.
Did he say how long until he would be back? Where's Alexander?
Did he say how long he was going to be gone, Talon?
Sometime.
Alexander is here yet, but the prince has also left our company. Again, with no word and no indication of where he is going or if he will be back.
Is that actually what Alexander told us?
My assumption is that.
Yeah, how much
my
time
assumption
has
is that
passed?
I don't know. My assumption is that I don't know
Okay.
anything about where the prince is going, unless
he
he
wouldn't-
would have told us everything.
Not everything, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It would have been probably just that he had business of his own to attend to.
That's kind of what I was figuring.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No one doesn't know anything about any of this.
Then so be it. If they are not with us, then so be it. We have to go. And he's going to start slow beginning to stand up and like reach out, his arm like shaking violently as he's pressing up off of the bed with it and reaching out with the other before he grabs onto the cane. You can feel it like shaking in his grip as he's pulling it away from you.
Actually, as you grab it, Stone kind of starts a little bit and like sees where he's holding the cane and then moves it closer to you to make it easier for you to grab it.
And as he takes the thing about Dorian's cane is it's almost like a lightweight metal. It's a pretty strange substance. It's like very hard but very light. And as he grabs it, you feel it grow much warmer just from his fingers wrapping around it. And he is in a bad state, clearly. And he begins trying to get up and puts the cane down and starts like limping over slowly towards wherever his... Does he have clothes anymore?
Dorian is now naked forever.
Naked forever.
Naked forever.
Canon.
Yes. Oh, this is
Okay.
interesting. Earth that supports the mountain has painstakingly made you some clothing, which basically amounts to monk's robes. They look like they had probably previously been Indarin, but she has tried to like fit them to your size, and they are still just like incredibly baggy, like tight and loose in all of the wrong places, but lovingly crafted.
It will have to do.
Rude.
And well, it's better than nothing, that's for sure.
Still rude.
Very rude. Dorian will put that on. Give her my thanks.
You will give them to her yourself.
I will.
I will fetch Alexander, and we will determine what it is we ought to do. And Stone will leave the yurt in search of Alexander.
Okay.
Stone.
Turns around. Actually, no. Doesn't turn around, but does stop.
What's happened to us?
Stone does not say anything and keeps walking.
Right. And Dorian slowly begins to tie the knot of the robe around his waist.
Dorian, as you sort of start getting your feet under you, you're incredibly stiff and sore. Moving around is more difficult even than it had been prior to going through this ordeal. You step outside the tent to find Ernon's Vale in full winter, snow covering the ground where it had been fall when you had fallen asleep. And you notice the professor sitting alone at sort of like a mountain stream that is half frozen that flows at the base of this assorted monastery buildings. He turns to look at you. He kind of his head goes down in sadness, and he turns back to the stream.
Professor, you're alive. And Dorian begins to slowly limp his way over and does the slow old man sit down on the bench next to him. It's good to see you, Professor Cal. We need to get back to the university. They're coming. All of them. They're going to burn everything. Professor, are you listening to me? Has he even looked in my direction?
He has looked at your direction, and his eyes are just filled with sadness. His hand shaking, he reaches into his coat, and he hands you a letter.
What is this, Professor? Some sort of game? I don't. Should I read this out loud for the purposes?
I kind of want to read it in the professor's voice.
Okay, sure.
But you actually have it, so you can follow along.
Yeah.
Dorian, I should have known that this old body was no longer suited to the toils of an adventure, especially one such as this. I should have realized there would be costs to pay, beyond those I imagined when setting out from Gareth. It does not matter now. I do not know what has caused it, excepting to say that thrice now I have encountered beings beyond my understanding, and that has an effect on a person. Some for good, others for ill. It has taken from me one of the few things I had left, my voice. May not seem much, but for an old man, well, old men have our minds, we have our tongues, without which we become burdens, useless as a lame mule. I will return to Arcadia. I have yet family there to care for me, there to live out my life in decrepitude and uselessness. Save for one task, I think. I am old, and not long for this world. If there is anyone that should bear the cost of your journal's curse, it should be me. I have already started and will finish before I leave. Should I go mad or become as an abominable creature, I hope that you will kill me and lay my body at the top of the mountains, and I might forever gaze out on the world. I ask also that no moments of silence be given in my honor. I do not relish giving Ishou the satisfaction. He has taken my voice, but he will get nothing else. I am sorry, my friend. I wish that I could have been stronger for you. And I hope that in this one thing, I can make some final use. Your friend, Eoqialyn.
Jeez.
Professor Callan is looking down, and tears are streaming down his cheeks as you finish the letter.
Dorian is tearing up as well. Professor, you are no burden. You are not some lame mule, as you put it. And it's my fault that you've been put in this situation in the first place. The journal's curse is my burden to bear. I will not let you take it. I will bring you back to your family. I am so sorry, Professor. And he just wraps his arms around him and holds him. I'm so sorry.
Stone, you are searching for Alexander.
Yep. Sort of.
Yeah?
He's wandering. He's looking for Alexander, but he's thinking real hard.
Doing a real big think?
Doing a real big think.
Okay. What is he thinking about?
He's thinking about what they should do and where they should go.
Sure.
Because it's become apparent at this point that we probably can't stay here and probably need to go somewhere. And there is now an indication of a place we could go, and he's trying to decide if that's the place they should go.
Can you roll a cunning check for me?
Oh no, I'm like the least cunning person in the universe.
Too fucking bad.
Roll that shit.
My cunning is 5.
You're good.
It's gonna be.
It's what you have a Dorian for.
Yeah.
I got a 14.
Out of 5. Wow. Okay.
Only 9 off.
I am not a clever man.
As you are walking, you are humming to yourself. You are humming the new song of Ishou, almost subconsciously. And without realizing it, you notice that you are adding 2 notes to the end of the song. You are giving it a resolution of like 2 final notes. But that was not a part of the song that you had heard. And I think that's all I'm going to say about it. And I'm going to let you ruminate on that. Alexander.
I think I know exactly what I need to do.
Okay, sure.
But I'm not going to do it right now.
Okay. Alexander. One moment you are walking kind of through the monastery, just trying to stretch your legs a little bit. You're feeling a little cooped up in this place where you've been for weeks now, not doing anything, without the comforts of a city that you've kind of become accustomed to through your life. And one moment you are walking along the shore of the stream, and the next you are surrounded by dark trees, rocks, and snow-covered bush. Your eyes dart around in vain attempts to get your bearings, but you are deep in the Golar wood, shrouded in darkness, with naught but barren limbs and black trunks. Your breath comes in shivering, shattering waves as the cold sinks into your skin. Eyes seem to watch from all around you.
And I'll draw my one of my knives at the very least. Kind of back up to into a tree, looking around, kind of in shock about like slap his face really quick and kind of see that he's still there.
Right. Taking a more intent look around you, you can see up through the branches, and using sort of the mountains as a guide, you think that you are closer actually to Ishou's final resting place than the monastery, although you've not spent a whole lot of time over in this side of the Vale, wanting to leave those memories, at least for the time being, where they lie. The only things that you hear are the wind blowing through the boughs, that scrape of dead branches against dead branches. And then you hear what sounds like an old woman. It's so far off you can barely hear it. But the sound is getting closer.
I look back towards where first, the thing I do is also look back to where I kind of first appeared here to see, like, if there's any footprints in the snow or if there's anything odd about that spot.
The footsteps in the snow just sort of appear. Like, there's no snow, there's no footsteps, and then there are footsteps. Okay. And at that point where it does, there is a distortion of some kind, as if reality, something has moved across the snow in a weird pattern right here. Although as the snow blows, it's disappearing even as you're looking at it.
Okay. Was it rather large or just kind of encompassed a little bit around my area?
Yeah, I would say in maybe like a 5-foot radius around.
Maybe like a square or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Confusing Alexander, but also, he's hearing this woman. He's going to attempt to hide in the tree. He's going to try to climb it and hide.
Okay. So, you nimbly leap up into the tree, attempting to hide in the boughs. Hello? Is someone there? The voice, as it has gotten closer, you recognize now is that of Prince Wilhelt.
But I don't see him yet?
No.
Okay. I'm going to still look around, kind of cautiously.
There is a hooded figure in the wood, maybe a few hundred feet away. It does appear to be Wilhelt as you last saw him leaving the yurt hut
the yurt.
A few days ago.
Seeing that, Alexander
is someone there? Excuse me, I think I've become lost. Hold on, dog.
Dog. Well, I know this is bad, but Alexander might not necessarily think it's bad.
Yeah, that sounds pretty sketch.
Oh, it's very sketch.
I'll pee real quick. I'll be right back.
All right.
Oh, wait. Oh, no, Pat's back. I'll be good. I'm good.
Can't be barking at strangers. Okay.
Can't be.
No,
Can't
Eva,
be.
no.
Fuck
Not
that
allowed.
bitch.
Alexander will chuckle and call out, "Lost already, Wilheld. That was fast."
Alexander, is that you? Where are you? I can't see you.
1 second, and he'll come down from the tree. I don't know how I ended up here myself, though, and he'll start slowly walking towards him.
Excellent. Wilhelt's like looking in the other direction, and doesn't seem to hear you approach until you get very close to him. And once you're like within arm's reach of him, he turns around and reaches out to you, and you can see that he is completely faceless. That it is him, but without any features, just like a smooth skin covering his face. He grabs onto you and pulls you close and rises up like a snake out of this form. This creature seems to grow out of his body, snaking above you. Limbs unfurl, many jointed and sharp from the body. Hundreds of them lining the sides of this like centipede-like creature. This pale-headed, faceless head, almost human head, like rises above you and then swoops down to you. Familiar, yet completely alien. A voice echoes through the wood. Now you are curious, aren't you, Alexander? Human, and yet not human. Not human at all. What lives inside that mind of yours, Alexander? This creature is sort of like swooping its head around you from side to side, cocking it back and forth, as if it's looking at you, but it doesn't have any eyes.
He's a little bit stunned at first, but then... And how would you know my name?
I know many things, but not about you. Your mind is... It is curious. Only twice before have I met a mind such as yours. Met a mind so impenetrable, so reflective. It's sort of like whispering into your ear right now.
What happened to Wilheld?
I have never met your friend. I drew this from your memory. You have nothing to worry about. It seems to be like sniffing you now. Under sort of under its breath, you can hear, "So succulent."
You feed upon memories, flesh, just so I know what I'm dealing with, I suppose.
Memories are my delicacy, but yours are unavailable to me.
Heard that one before.
I propose a trade, Alexander. A memory for a memory. I have many of them, but none quite so tasty as yours. Would you trade a memory with me?
would I do with a memory? I can't subsist on them. They don't sound very tasty to me. A mere human or whatever.
Au contraire, my friend. Memories are useful to anyone. With memories come knowledge. What is it that you wish to know, Alexander?
Would I potentially... I'm wanting like an insight check here, so you know what I mean?
Sure.
Or like something. I want to know. I want to know more. I want to know if I know what kind of the creature this is. I want to know.
You have never
if I
heard of
can
anything
trust
like
it.
this before.
No, okay.
You do not trust it. That's
No.
for sure.
Yeah, no shit. All right.
Hang on, I'm just trying to collect my thoughts here. Surely there's something that you wish to know. Perhaps what it is that is inside of you, or who gave it to you. I think you would find the answer interesting, unexpected, perhaps. Maybe you wish to know where to find more power. Those with power always crave more of it. I could lead you to some. Or not. What is it that you desire? Is it riches? I can lead you to riches. Or perhaps you wish to know what to do. What path to take.
At that one, he'll like look into its quote-unquote eyes, but hasn't said anything yet.
I know many paths, many ways to go. Speak it. Speak your desire.
Would a memory inform things that have yet to pass?
Much can be divined about the future from things that have already come to pass, yes?
I suppose. And what memory of mine is so tantalizing to you that you would provide one of these? I had some great chicken once, I could tell you all about that.
No, that's not it. I can smell it. It's in there. It is forbidden. It is a secret. Something no one else knows.
Oh, I know which one you were referring to. I'm assuming I'm being held pretty tight. Like,
actually, it has sort of let you go, but with the speed at which it's sort of like darting around you. And so like every time you turn, it's like right there, right like up in your face.
oh. In addition, if I give you one, a trade with you, in addition to one of your memories, you'll let me go.
Of course.
He'll have his hands on his daggers, of course, as he's thinking this over, and then he'll look at it again. A memory for a memory.
And what memory would you like from me?
path ahead is precarious. It can lead to so much pain, so much suffering. Normally I wouldn't care too much what happened, but this is beyond what I could have imagined. I need to know if I can trust my friends or if I join Wilheld.
Ooh. Okay. I think I have something for that. I did not think that I was going to have to describe this thing. Okay. Your mind is suddenly overwhelmed with images and information. You see inky black tendrils coming out in front of you and around you. You can see eyes. Rather, you can see out of eyes, as if you are seeing out of a cloud of eyes, and like many different images all at once. You see a small girl. She is sick and dying. She is dirty and sort of like lying in the streets of a ruined city that you have never been to before. The tendrils sort of pick the girl up and hold them out, and you can feel yourself breathe into them. You can feel yourself taking something, reaching out into the world and plucking something out, and it moves through you. This is an old and ancient thing that has been lurking here, and you're just given like feelings about it, so you're not sure what exactly this thing is, but it is blown. You sort of like take it and you blow it into this little girl who you are holding in your inky tendril hands, and her eyes open in that glazed over, like, undead Najit look. And then the vision vanishes.
No way.
What the fuck?
And am I still in front of the being at the moment then?
Yes, and as like the vision disappears, you are like left in front of the being. What memory did you share in exchange?
So, I guess from a similar perspective, the being sees from my eyes, essentially, in the memory.
Yeah.
It shows, from Alexander's first-person perspective, approaching an ornate door. It seems to be in a hallway of all sorts of ornate doors. Various on mostly on the right-hand side. The hallway is relatively well lit, and you can hear music coming from the right-hand side. He approaches one of the doors, and it slowly opens. The music gets louder as the door opens, and in front of and in that is a box. Essentially looking out over a hall, a concert. A woman sits alone, her back turned to the door, focused on the show ahead. The person walks closer. From the perspective, walks closer to this chair. Walks closer to the person who's not turned their back, or has not turned to face him yet. At that point, when the approaching perspective gets right behind the chair and stops, the dagger is raised. And before it comes down, the woman just utters 2 words. I knew. Before the dagger slams into her neck. And the memory fades.
That was a good memory, Alexander. But it was a lie. You cannot deceive the deceiver. It was a lie, Alexander. You traded a lie for the truth. And that has consequences, Alexander. It has consequences when you lie. And this creature rears up and lets out just a piercing shriek that echoes throughout the woods. You can see it it points down at you, and all of its many 100 limbs that all end in piercing claws and points, and it starts shrieking and writhing as light appears behind it. Light that is orange and muted, as if like an eclipse. The creature rises up into the air and then disappears into the wood, and behind it you can see Anastas glowing brilliantly, and the creature shirking away from the light of your large Najit friend. The light sort of dissolves and disappears, and you are left in the gloom of the wood once again, with Anastas.
Hello, my friend.
Hello.
Welcome back.
It's good to be back. But why are you in these woods?
That is a very good question, and one I'm not sure of.
You look as if you've seen something troubling.
Did Anastas hear that sound?
Yes, yeah. Anastas saw the sound and saw a creature, and so started walking towards it. But the light was almost sort of resonant off of you. You didn't control it; it just happened, and then the creature departed. You saw
almost in response, I saw this creature, and then I started glowing.
Yes. And then as you saw the face of this creature as the non-face of the creature.
That's not how this goes at all. This goes, Anastas then sees the creature, sees that he begins glowing, and then rushes to Alexander and grabs him, collects him in his arms, and tumbles and rolls across.
Yes. Excellent.
And then checks to see if Anastas or Alexander is okay.
Alexander is okay, and now the creature is nowhere to be seen, as if it disappeared into smoke.
But what did you encounter, young Alexander?
I don't quite know either. All I know is that it seems I encountered a battle of the minds, and I believe mine was stronger.
Excellent. Guys, walk back to the monastery, where you find Stone. So, Stone, you've been looking for Alexander.
I actually...
Hello, friend.
I came up with a scene that I would like to do.
Oh, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
If we could.
No, yeah, go for it.
I just have a very quick question.
Yeah.
Does Alexander, for Lucci actually, does Alexander actually look as if he's seen or interacted with something horrifying, or is he just going full-blown Aang right now?
Whatever.
Literally no expression through this whole thing.
I would imagine there is Well, it's probably what you come to expect from Alexander. He may be a little shaken, but he's putting on that brave face.
He's a little shaken, but he's certainly not stirred.
Yeah, you can tell that he's not comfortable with what just happened, but he is pleased with himself.
That hurt my brain to listen to.
We're definitely not going to pay for that one in the future.
Oh, it's certainly not.
Everything's
not even a little
fine.
Okay?
This is fine. It's just a rival that eats memories and is now very upset with me, but
faceless memory stealer is pissed at Alexander.
It's fine.
Anywho.
Patrick is right, Tink.
Well, you guys discovered a secret about the world. I'd like to know what you guys know.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, I'll have to take notes after this session. So what I would like to do, Patrick, if I may, is Stone wanders looking for Alexander ostensibly, but is just really ruminating on things. He's humming the song to himself while he's doing so, and ends up wandering out into the woods, not to like Ishou, but to the grave of the monk that was put out there just, a few days ago or whatever it was.
Sure. Yeah.
And Stone, realizing now where he is and, seeing the monk and kind of ruminating on the conversation that was had here the other day and just kind of everything that has happened, is going to, for the third time on this spot, begin to sing the new song of Ishou.
Okay.
And sings it, just the way that it had been taught to him the entire time. But now, thinking that he understands, is thinking to himself, and to the end of this, I will ask where we should go.
Okay. So you have 2 syllables.
Yes.
Okay.
So, the 2 syllables that he is thinking of is, I will ask our path. Our path. But at the end of the song, instead of saying our path, he very deliberately says, my path.
My path. Okay! Awesome! Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Okay. So as you say your path with those final, or my path with those final 2 notes, you feel that energy that had been building and building wrap itself around you as if with dark tendrils, and your vision goes dark. And when you see again, you see a shrine. Now, this is a shrine that you've seen many, many times in your past. They are scattered throughout Eoqialyn. And this is a shrine to the nameless Aoka. It is a simple stone that has a hole sort of bored through it. Travelers that are, wishing to honor those forgotten dead or those people that have come before them, like their old ancient ancestors who've long been lost to history, will come and pray at these shrines and leave flowers at the base of them. And as you see this shrine, you see light begin to coalesce in that hole that is bored through it near the top. And this light kind of comes together as if refracted to a single point that extends out over Amaran Bay, as if it is pointing you, guiding you in that direction. And then the vision fades. Please roll your 1d8 for your corruption. As you awaken from this vision, you can feel the corruption filling you up and wrapping around your body, those tendrils.
It couldn't go any other way. I hit my threshold.
And it sinks into you. You can feel your eyes begin to go black as the corruption is sinking into them. You gasp. Is this the first time that Stone has ever experienced permanent corruption?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. So I believe that at this point you take
1d4 permanent corruption.
Permanent corruption. Yes.
Oh, yes.
And what does your how does this corruption manifest for you?
So the way that it manifests, so over the course of the song, the way that I'm imagining it is as the notes have rung out and I'm experiencing this vision and I'm standing, my eyes are black, but there are also ripples around me as if in a dark pool, and out of those ripples are eyes start to appear, as they had in the pool at the grave of Ishou.
Oh, gross.
And as the corruption begins to overwhelm and take root in his body for the first time, just one of those eyes trickles up one of his forearms. Not his curse name forearm, but onto one of his other named forearms. And then cements itself solidly in his wrist and closes.
Oh, pass on that. Okay.
Alright.
So your total corruption reaches your corruption threshold. Roll 1d4 for your permanent corruption.
I take 4 permanent corruption.
God damn, dude.
Yikes!
Stop rolling so high.
Yeah, why can't I ever
This isn't
roll this
D&D.
high when I need to? Jesus.
Damn.
All right. So I'm thinking it might actually be more than one eye. It might be a couple.
It might be a couple. And as you awaken, you look down at this eye. When you look up, you can see Anastas and Alexander emerging from the wood in front of you.
I'm gonna kind of cover the eye a little bit and just kind of sort of gather myself for a second, and then just look up and say, "So you've returned to us, Bonekin."
Anastas stands before you, a new colossus. Gold or silver inlays replaced with rose gold, and the armor, the shoddy crow armor, has been polished and plated and nailed to its body. He's gleaming, and kind of reaches out a hand to help you back to your feet. I said I would only be gone for some time. It is good that we meet here. I feared I would have to search.
And Alexander, why are you here?
A great question that I don't quite know the answer to. But it is good to see you both.
I found him in the woods, attacked by some creature. It lurks in these trees, these corpses of trees.
Creature.
Pray tell,
It's
What is
attempted.
what has happened about Theodorian? Was he awake?
Dorian is awake and he is approaching you. Hobbling.
Probably with the professor as well.
Yes.
And kind of both of us holding each other up a little bit. He approaches and kind of looks each of you over. You all look well.
I am glad you survived your ordeal.
Good to see you, Dorian. We were getting worried.
But
We must make our way to Arcadia with most haste.
I agree, for I was about to suggest the same.
Why?
There's business with the Orthodoxy I must attend to in Arcadia, and there's troubling news for those of my kind.
See.
Pat, could I get a map? Get the map real quick.
Yeah, that would actually be awesome.
Did any of you see anything at the grave of Ishou?
I was given a vision.
As was I.
As was I.
As was Wilhelt, I believe.
Where is the Golden Prince?
He's attending other business. I don't know if he'll be back.
What sort of other business?
He wouldn't tell me.
Curious. What did you all see?
Something I fear we should talk about on the road. There is some monster in these woods that attacked Alexander, yet he knows not much about it.
What sort of monster?
Some great tenebrous thing. Wailing.
Wasn't pleased that it didn't get a proper memory from me. It seems it consumes memories from people, lures them in with their most recent trusted companions.
Has Dorian heard of anything like this before?
I will cunning check.
And you
This is going to be hard. This is going to be very hard. -4.
Okay.
And how did it come to possess one of your memories?
It didn't. But
that
I got
does
one
not
of its.
answer my question.
I don't know the process in which it did it, but it seems, well,
No.
I suppose that's true.
Why were you there in the first place?
Well, it used Wilhelt after he had left. Pierre had called out to me with his name, or with his voice, and I went to it. Unfortunately, I was deceived. But I wouldn't let that stand.
And you spoke to it.
Well, it spoke to me first.
I
Your
got a
self-preservation instinct is interesting to me, Alexander.
I'm still alive, aren't I?
Peach, check your DMs.
Ooh, interesting, Peach. All I will say is, I believe I've made quite the enemy. So, be wary of things you think are too good to be true, I suppose.
Noted.
Stone just kind of snorts, as if you probably should have done that anyway.
Pat, would you mind also? Ooh, yeah. Yes. Anastas, you look great, by the way. He says, eyeing his new form.
You deceived this creature, and that's what caused it to attack you before I intervened.
It appears that way, yes.
These demons are powerful. We cannot stay. We have no time to plan. We must leave.
Agreed, I would rather get moving.
We have to warn Arcadia.
Warn them of what?
Vinici.
She marches there.
That is what I saw.
That was your vision.
It was the end of humanity.
You believe this to be what will pass if we don't do something?
I saw myself
I know it.
alone.
Seems we may have all heard something a little different.
I do not know what I saw.
Mine was a great battle. Horrifying.
We have miles to figure it out. But, Dorian, you seem to have known something about this creature.
I recalled some sort of faceless spirit from a Hadron legend, but to be honest, I did not pay it much thought during my studies. Back then I did not see what I have seen now. I did not take it to heart. There was a professor, but oh, the eccentric one. And he kind of like snaps his fingers. I cannot recall her name. It's something I will have to sort out back at the university.
Speak plainly, Dorian. What do you know?
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Speak plainly. What do you know of this creature?
That is all that I.
You know that you know something?
He basically, his knowledge check was, this is outside the purview of things that I thought that Dorian would know, but I gave him a lead on a way to find out.
Well, that makes sense. Got it. Yeah.
Got it.
And this professor would be in Arcadia?
Yes, I believe it was a Professor Basil, something like that. She
find her.
Rambled on quite a bit about Hadron legend and lore. It wasn't something that I had paid too much attention to back then.
It's something I'll need to worry about going forward, which I imagine I haven't seen the last of this. I would like to know more of it. I would love to speak with this professor.
What did you get from this ruse?
I saw it consuming, or this professor might know better, but I gained one of its memories. Whether it was truthful to me or not, I don't know. I don't think it was what I asked for, but
What seemed of what did you ask for of it?
answers for the path ahead. Maybe it was, and I have to decipher it, but
What did it show you?
Something. It breathing into a young girl, its eyes closed and then opened. This, when he puts his hand on his head, it's not a pleasant memory. Pat, would you mind sending me like the text of that one again, by the way?
Sure. Yeah, I can.
That'd be awesome. Just so I have it a little bit more detailed again.
I can't right now.
No, that's
but I will
that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Myself a note.
Yeah, now that I've got a new memory. New memory unlocked. We can... I'll need to rack my brain on it, but I asked for answers and I'm not sure if it provided what I needed, but it certainly provided something. This professor may know more.
Sort out what this creature was breathing into this girl. It must have been important. And it clearly valued truth, if your lie is what sent it into convulsions.
This is true.
If this being steals memories, are we so certain that it was actually breathing something into the girl that you had seen? Perhaps it was taking something away?
Maybe that's what the exchange between it and I looked like, or maybe it wasn't its memory at all.
What was the deception that you had told this creature? You said you had tricked it somehow.
It seems to not be able to read it seems it takes memories a little bit more forcefully than it attempted for me normally. It wasn't able to do that. And so I fed it a lie. Something it would expect from me, but something that wasn't true, or not entirely true.
But it could taste falsehoods.
It could, which that is concerning for me.
Concern for you is concern for us all. With our newfound power, we have great responsibility before us. And we cannot afford another human to fall through Hodra hands.
Right then.
Arcadiva?
Off the way. Let us go.
Make our way back to the homestead first. We can resupply, get some more food there, and we can help out that family's child.
The homestead?
Yes, that we had encountered on our way up the mountain. Upon our descent, we can return there.
Before Bilthrin?
Resupply. Yes. Was it before Bilthrin?
It was
it's
kind
just
of
to the north of Bilthrin, yeah.
Oh, so it was after Bilthrin, before Nearhaven.
Before Nearhaven, yeah.
Well, from our direction, it is a 4, but
if we're coming at it from the other way,
can I draw?
Then we should make.
You guys are right there.
Haste.
This thing is like right there.
Okay.
Tweet.
Arcadiva there.
So it is along the path.
It is along the way, yeah. Okay. Good.
All right. Once again united, you gather your things and say your final goodbyes before setting off down the mountain. Around
Oh,
you...
shit.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I definitely would have approached, fuck, what was
Earth
the
that
name?
supports the mountain.
Earth, thank you. I would approach Earth that supports the mountain and just take one of her hands in mine and kind of looking up to her, I'd just say, thank you for all that you've done, for the clothing, the shelter. I don't believe I would have made it if it weren't for you.
Smallkin, we each have our path, and mine is to tend to this forest and the things that come through it. I was only glad that I could serve you so well. Do not waste it.
We all have our burdens to bear. Thank you. And with that, as he says that, Dorian will clutch the cursed journal in his knapsack a little bit, and then just turn to leave.
After saying your goodbyes, you descend the mountain. Around you, the snows begin to melt, and the streams seem flush with it. The first of spring, birds sing softly in the distance, and the trail and dirt become muddy, wet, and cold beneath your feet as you make your way south and east to Arcadia, and hopefully answers. Almost exactly 3 hours. Awesome.
I am now entirely fucked.
Yeah, that's not good.
That was insane.
So, to put this in perspective, every time I sing a song, I have to roll 1d4 for temporary corruption. So every song that I sing, there is a chance for me to gain more permanent corruption.
You're joking.
I am totally fucked.
Wow.
That was literally as poorly as that could have gone.
Time to roll up a new character.
Yeah, because I'm going to be a fucking monster here pretty quick.
So it seems.
Just have him go join the prince.
Yeah, maybe I will.
Oh gosh.
That's
So I am so epically fucked.
Dude, that was
There are
fucking
ways
awesome.
to reduce corruption, I will say that.
Yeah, but are there any that I can get to within the next session? Because otherwise, I can't do anything.
Dude, it is gonna make Arcadia so fucking interesting.
Oh God.
I'm very excited for it, actually, now.
You'll be okay.
It's gonna be
yes,
great.
you will be okay, but you might have there might be some consequences.
All right, I'm okay with that. I'll take consequences. Because, oh my God, like right now I'm looking at it and it's like, okay, I can play the character, but there is a very, just because if it was one less point, it would be totally fine.
Mhm.
One less corruption point and it would be totally fine.
But now you're
Not
within
so
4.
right now.
But, like if you roll a 4 again, you're
Yeah. I hit 8, and then I roll another d4 to get that many more temporary corruption. So if I roll a 4 there, I'm at my threshold, and anything that I do after that just automatically becomes corruption, like permanent corruption.
Well, you got a little bit of time.
Yeah.
I've got one song.
Maybe a
It's
good one.
great.
And
Dude.
if you, how would this work? So basically, if you do a song, you gain 4 temporary, you then gain 4 more permanent. That would put you at 12. If you then did another song and rolled 4, you would turn into an abomination.
I would turn into an abomination.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
Damn.
basically what would happen is like, basically I would hit 8. If I get to 8, everything after that just automatically becomes permanent corruption.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it would just be like all it takes is a couple of my corruption rolls to go very poorly, and I am a monster.
Anastas can purify you.
Huh?
Anastas can purify you.
Can you?
Yeah.
I did
Like,
not
I
realize that.
purified that creature, and I purified that dude, and I purified everything else that's been broken by my wheel that means purity.
Oh, good, great.
Yeah.
If you turn into a monster, you'll be fine.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, you'll
purified.
purify me.
Purified. Yep. You won't have to worry about it ever again.
Pat.
Oh man.
Pat,
Yeah.
those vibes though, is that who it was based off of? Because that was like my favorite villainous character from
yeah.
Avatar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's not
Oh man,
give Ko all the credit when Ko was clearly inspired by Ka.
that's true.
Let us also give credit due to the faceless Japanese spirit, the Nopera Boo, who
Mhm.
Ko was based off of.
Very cool. Love it.
Or
Love that.
probably Satan in the garden for Ka.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you go.
What do you guys think?
That was a super good session.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
so
stoked.
excited. I'm
Good
so
start to
excited
season 2.
continue.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome drama, really cool scenes. I had a lot of fun with Dorian and Professor Colin thing.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that was an interesting thing that I did not necessarily expect. So he's offering to translate the rest of the journal for you.
Yes, but I know what it would do to him if he did. And with the situation he's currently in, I don't want him to do that. I want him to live the best life that he can, surrounded by loved ones, after finding him alone in a city about to die, then dragging him through this hellish shit that we've been in, proclaiming that it's going to be an adventure. And now he's just this old, sad, broken man who's convinced that he's completely worthless because of the crap that he's been drugged through. Like, no, I'm gonna help him find his family and live out a good life without having to shoulder the burden of this horrific I saw what it did to him last time, and it was horrible.
Interesting, because the theme of purpose, I think, is very present in this campaign in particular.
Anastas would warn you the dangers of taking away an individual's purpose.
Well, we can see how how did he react to that besides just sad
and broken.
and defeated?
Bro can't talk.
Bro can't talk.
Well, he can still write, clearly.
But
Paper's expensive in the olden times, my dude.
This is true.
We'll go to Arcadia,
give
but
him
there's
some
all sorts of
paper.
paper there, I'm sure.
That would be a really good conversation for Anastas and Dorian to have. So if you're
For sure.
Yeah, something we could definitely go back and forth on for like what we think is best for the professor. I mean, I know for me, like as a player, I'd love to like have more advancement on the stuff with the journal. But as Dorian, seeing what this guy is going through and now basically hating himself and resigning himself to torture over this journal after everything he's gone through, like he's not super cool with that.
For sure.
a tortured, purposeful existence might be better than
Yeah,
a plaything.
and that is the conversation.
There's the rub.
That's the rub.
That's the moral gray.
All right. Well, it sounds like next session we are going to start back at the farm, at Engelstead Farm, just north of Bilthrin. I think that'd be a great opportunity for you guys to have that conversation. Sounds like we have a quest to wrap up there, and then we're going to march right into Arcadia, and have you guys explore what's going on there.
I like it.
Point of order also, I'm not actually permanently stigmatized until after I get to my threshold. So that's temporary stigma, and then the eye went away. I'm not permanently marked yet.
Got it. Good to know.
Good.
In terms of when next we should meet, is everyone okay for Sunday the 18th, same time?
Let me
That's
be
2 weeks from today.
100% sure.
I think I am good for that. Yes. Let me double
At the
check.
same time,
Yeah,
or
same
our-
time, because I'm sure that Carlucci probably still has his other
Yeah.
question. So-
I will check with, actually what I'll do is I will check with them tonight if we're planning for the 18th. If we're not, then we can shift it to the evening. If we are, I will need to double check my schedule.
Yeah.
I just got I've been away the weekend for the most part. So I'll just need to double check. But
yeah, everyone tentative 18th, and just let me know.
18th, I will have practice from 2:30 to 5:30.
Okay.
So either we start at how long does it take you to get ready into practice? Could you feasibly end by like 2? If we started at like 11, if need be.
If I'm packed up, everything's ready to go. No.
Okay. The 25th is Christmas.
Right.
And the 1st is New Year's Day.
I'm actually also traveling that day, so
Okay.
either way.
And we wouldn't be able to do just next weekend, or just kind of instead of doing the every other.
Well, we don't have another campaign going.
Right.
Let me double check. I think that next week would be okay. I'm just not positive. Nope. I've got brunch with Lisa. Okay. So how early can we do on a Saturday or on a Sunday?
Early. I don't have a problem with early.
I would definitely prefer evening if possible.
Let me first talk to my group, and we can kind of plan from there. Because that's so close to Christmas. I know people might be traveling, so I will talk to them first, and then I will let you know what's going on. I need to figure shit out with with these two campaigns anyway.
I definitely can